Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to some more F1 My Team content here today on the channel. Today we are here for the Hungarian Grand Prix and pretty much now reaching the season break part of the year. So after this race we'll go into a season break and then the next episode will be at Belgium, and that is officially the second half of the season, but we're already about 13 races in, give or take. So we're technically already kind of in the second half of the year as we start to run down on the European races. But guys, real quick, I'm going to get the plug out of the way. If you missed the last episode guys at Silverstone where I attempted to do a no pit stop race, so 0 pit stops, nothing at all, then go check it out. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of your screen. But today guys, we are here at Hungary and this is a good track for us. I think it suits our car and I'm very much looking forward to it, and we've now moved back to performance upgrades, so hopefully we can keep getting quicker and quicker now as the year progresses towards the end. But guys, one last thing, if you're going to enjoy the video, smash the like button. Let's see if we try and smash 1,000 likes for today's video, and also subscribe to the channel guys if you are new for more daily F1 content. But with that said, let's get today's episode underway. Here we are then once again on the laptop for another race weekend, and as you can see, no rain expected in theory, but we'll get into that in a minute. We then look at the R&D graph this weekend. Ferrari, Renault, McLaren bringing some upgrades along with Williams. Meanwhile, the Mercedes and Red Bull stay pretty much the same. We personally have some big upgrades on our car, so we've got a fuel efficiency upgrade on the way, which is minor, and an ultimate upgrade for the aerodynamics for some drag reduction. So some big things in the pipeline for us, and hopefully those will help push us forward and keep us on top in terms of the performance in Formula 1 and be the top team around. But with that said, we move into practice and get another session underneath our belt. And to be fair, like I said at the start of the video, this track suits our car quite well, and after practice we went quickest of all. And to be fair, Ricciardo only P9, but he was the only car on the hard compound tyre, so if you factor that in, probably would have gone P2 on mediums. So a good session for us. We score over 1,000 R&D points once again, and that is just so consistent now. It's great to see, and we just keep on racking up those points every single time, and it's great to have because it just means we keep improving the car every single race and every single session. So we move on to the engine graph, and after practice I actually decided to put in an older spec of components for the energy store and the control electronics, because those two particular components, we've only got 2 of those for the whole year, and I'm going to use them for qualifying and race. I'm also going to use them probably again at Singapore, and in theory, by doing that, we should be able to get to the end of the year on the current allocation of components that we have. So anyway, that aside, we move into qualifying then, and now business as usual for us. So we're going to move to Q1, and again, I don't really take a chance anymore in Q1 because sometimes I can get a bit complacent, so I make sure I'm on the pace straight away from the get-go, as if it were a Q2 lap or a Q3 lap. So you can see here we get a bit loose through the penultimate corner, and that was my first time I was a bit worried about something. We get another snap on the final corner, and it's actually due to tyres overheating. So I'm not quite sure why that happened, why the first snap was triggered with oversteer, but our rears were overheating as we crossed the line. So that was something to keep in mind in terms of my driving style, that I might have to just slightly tweak my driving style, be a bit more smooth and take it a bit easier. Bottas quickest in Q1 with a 110.0, which is glitch lap time, so don't look into that too much. Crucially though, myself and Ricciardo are through quite comfortably into Q2. And now, speaking of that session, we're going to get things underway here, and again just starting to pick up the pace a little bit in this session, and also trying to avoid the mistakes we made in Q1. So for example, here we go at the penultimate corner, this time a lot cleaner on the traction, and I can tell you the tyres have held on perfectly in terms of temperature, so we get a flawless last couple of corners, and we set a 110.8 I believe, so that is more like it. We go P1 once again in Q2 and set the benchmark tyre temperatures absolutely perfect, and a good start to Q2. And to be fair, I didn't need to go out again because that lap was more than good enough. Ricciardo ended the session quickest on mediums with a 110.2. Again, another glitch lap time along with Sainz and possibly Albon as well. But crucially, we're both through. Ricciardo starting on mediums. He could be the X factor in the race. But with that said, we're now going to move into Q3, because in Q3, things weren't exactly going as planned.
Okay, I know you're eager to get out there, but I'm going to need you to be patient for a few minutes. We're just trying to zero in on an oil leak.
Now you may have noticed at the end of Q2 it got very dark, and in Q3 it's actually raining, and we have missed out on about 6 minutes of dry weather running, and the rain has been falling since the start of the session, and basically I missed out on the cutoff to go into the dry tyres thanks to my car issue. So we've been robbed here of an attempt on the dry tyres. Having said that, there wasn't that many cars who actually benefited from that, which was quite surprising, so there is still a chance for us to pick something up in this one. And you can see currently P5 on Inters, a very, very good banker lap actually, a very good first lap. Ricardo currently P4. He's currently on the Inters, but his best lap was set on dries. And you got also Leclerc on Inters, Bottas as well. But all of these laps were set on the dry conditions except for my one. So we are actually somewhat on the pace, even on the Inters. And this lap here, we was able to find a bit of time through this left-hander, but then through the right of turn 3, we just lose the back end and go for a spin. So shout out Sebastian Vettel, there's Binala in Hungary, and we lose the back end. So what I did was I went for a recovery lap and cooled the tyres down, and I had enough fuel for one more lap. So this was my best lap of qualifying in the wet conditions. So let's ride on board and let's see what the lap was like. And there we go, across the line, purple sector 3. We remain P5, unfortunately, but still a very strong lap there on the intermediates. And in my opinion, maximising a compromised Q3 where we didn't get a chance on dry tyres. So Albon P1, Hamilton second, Ocon in the top 3 for Renault, Ricardo P4, so not too shabby. Daniel, of course, starting on those medium tyres. We finished P5 ahead of Bottas, which is very important for the Drivers' Championship and, of course, the Constructors as well. Leclerc P7 ahead of Norris, Sainz and Verstappen, who rounds off the top 10. And a bit of a mix there in terms of tyre compounds, but in the end, I'm not too disappointed. We did a good job, and both cars in the top 5, considering the circumstances, isn't that bad. And having Daniel start on mediums is going to be a really good thing for us. So yeah, in the end, qualifying decent enough. We then move into the rivalry breakdown. Hamilton, of course, does outscore us due to a higher grid position after qualifying, which is fair enough. And he's going to take the lead in the brand new refreshed rivalry. So fair play, Lewis getting straight down to business. We then look at the acclaim after that qualifying, and no rule changes really, because both myself and Ricardo didn't really maximize our results. So yeah, in the end, things pretty much unchanged as we wrap up qualifying, and we're now getting into the race for the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys. So let's get this underway and let's see if we can try and show our true pace.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's talk about Martinez. They come into this race with a healthy championship lead. I don't want to say the title race is over, but surely it's going to take something special or catastrophic to change the outcome at this point.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Crofty. Yes, it looks like a big lead, but all it takes is a locked brake into turn 1, a sticky wheel nut in the pit stop, and that could all get turned on its head. You can never discount one more sting in the tail.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Alexander Albon put in a great lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ocon, Ricardo, Martinez, and Bottas, Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, and Max Verstappen. Magnussen, Vettel, Sergio Perez, and Kvyat, Russell, De Vries, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Jack Aitken. Latifi, Grosjean, Gasly, they've taken a grid penalty, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Here we go then, guys. We start the race from P5 after qualifying, and we've got Ricciardo there to our right-hand side in P4. This race is going to be very interesting, and the reason for that is because the strategy here plays a key part in the race. Now, around here, if you qualify on soft tyres, you're going to box very early, and by boxing really early, it means you're going to rejoin behind every single one-stopper on the mediums or the hard tyres, so you're going to have to fight your way through the pack. So, in my experience around here, going long in the first stint and extending it by a couple of laps could be crucial in terms of maybe overcutting some slower cars. Therefore, we've planned for that, and what we're going to do is we're going to underfuel the car by 0.8, so just under a litre or a lap of fuel, and hopefully that will give us the advantage to try and go a bit longer in the first stint. I'm going to try and be aggressive, make up a few places at the start, but then I'm going to kind of settle into a race pace and be gentle on the tyres and see if we can try and go longer than 8 laps. If we can, that's going to really help us out in terms of our race strategy. No rain expected, so it's going to be a very straightforward race, guys. So without further ado, let's get today's race underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we go then. The lights are coming on here at the Hungaroring. We're going to build the revs up to the sweet spot, and it's lights out and away we go. Not a bad start actually. Everyone behind though getting off to a really poor start. Down towards turn 1 we go. I'm going to just stay in the middle of the track to avoid cars dive bombing me here. As we go to turn 1, Ricciardo still P4. He's on medium tyres, so that could be interesting actually. Ricciardo will definitely be on the one stop going long this race, so really I'm quite happy to sit behind him. You know, he's going to be the one to kind of push through once people start to struggle on soft tyres. But a very Pacific and, you know, casual start. Ocon P3, so I'm expecting him to drop through a little bit. And I think Ricciardo might get past him pretty quickly. But for us, the target is simple. Try and manage these tyres a little bit and keep them alive, because we need to go long in this first stint. It's going to really help out our race. Ricciardo is in the prime position here on the medium tyres, being able to go long and extending that first stint. Meanwhile, Hamilton pulling away out front, getting to work already in that Mercedes, so we need to try and establish an early pace here. I could potentially pass Ricciardo, to be honest. I think I've got a better pace, but it's only going to last a couple of laps. I'm going to probably sit behind and wait unless I really have to get past, because Ricciardo's obviously really slow. Pace is good. Hamilton sets the pace as DRS is enabled.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I'm really hoping Ricciardo starts to make progress now, because I feel like I've got some good pace. And I'm just throwing it away. Hamilton's racing away out front. He's looking very good this race if he keeps on at this pace. But I need to try and make some progress now. Ricciardo's pretty close to Ocon, but Ocon will have DRS, I believe, off the Red Bull. No, he doesn't. Okay, this could be it. Let's see if Ricciardo gets the move into turn 1 here. It's going to be close. That Renault is very quick on the straight. And Ricciardo's nowhere near him, which is quite surprising. I feel like I've got a lot of pace, but I just can't use it at the minute. I don't have enough straight line speed to get close enough to Ricciardo. Everything's going well so far. Temperatures are perfect. We're saving fuel as well. But the only thing that's not going our way is Ricciardo making this move on Ocon. It's taking longer than I would have liked. That Renault is very quick on the straight, and I've just got no speed at all. When it comes to the double DRS effect, I just can't get close enough to my teammate here. To be fair, this is the closest I've been to Ricciardo. I might just go for this. Down the inside of turn 1. Didn't want to do that really, but Ricciardo unfortunately is not getting the move done on Ocon, so I've got to push on because I'm in a different race. Daniel's one stopping it, so am I, but we're going to be having different tyres at different times in terms of tyre life, so I've just got to do my race and get on with it. Ricciardo had his chance. As the team boss now, I'm stepping up. Getting very close to Ocon there, almost lost my front wing. I'm so much quicker. Come on, let's try and get past it. Actually, Ocon pits, there we go. That's going to make it easier for us. Let's chase after Albon as Hamilton pits in the Mercedes. That's an early stop from Lewis.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
So this is now where we've got to go very long. So originally I was scheduled for lap 8. The team already have asked for a strategy change to lap 9. But I'm going to see if I can get to lap 10, 11, 12. You know, we've got to try and go as long as the tyres can go. At a good pace, of course. Hamilton should now rejoin in a bunch of traffic. So this is our chance to make the race ours. This is going to be my chance. It's overcut. It's my way back into the race to try and catch Hamilton. So we need to be strong here. I'm expecting Albon to pit this lap. So hopefully we don't get held up and we can just grab the DRS and get on with it. Here we go. Let's see if Albon pits. No, he stays down. Interesting. So Albon going along as well. So let's see if we can pass him here. Out the final corner. DRS onto the pit straight. We match our personal best. Here we go.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Down the inside of turn 1. It's a big old dive. Albon with the cutback. It's going to be close down towards turn 2. We've got the inside line though. We can make the move. There we go. Up into P1. Wasn't expecting Albon to stay out, to be fair. That's why I wasn't too close to him. But we got the move done anyway. Let's get on with this now. Another personal best here. That's good pace.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Now, that's the issue now. So we're scheduled to pit this lap. But I'm not sure if I will. Ricciardo gets past Albon. I do feel the soft tyre starting to struggle now though. Tyre wear's kicking in. Temperatures are getting a bit high at times. But we're going to try and stick with it here for a couple more laps. Magnussen is the reference point. So if that gap is still going up, then we're going to stay out. Oh, that's a big moment there. We're going to stay out one more. You can see the gap to Magnussen has gone up to 13.2, 13.3 now. Hamilton's P5, so he's making progress. Albon pits. We're going to pit this lap now, I think. This is going to be the lap we pit. Hamilton onto mediums. So he's 2-stopping this race, whereas we're going for the 1. So we're on different strategies now as well. Let's try and push this lap. Here we go then. We're going to pit for the first and only time this race, hopefully. Into the pit lane. We're going to release Ricciardo. Striking for some grip there. Some understeer kicking in from these tyres now, which are very second hand. Get it also down to the 80. And there we go. So Hamilton's going to be ahead of us, of course. We're not going to be anywhere near him due to him being on medium tyres. And getting a bit of space in between the pack there. Between Magnussen and Russell. But Russell was 18 seconds adrift. And he's holding up a lot of traffic. I know he is. So here we go. Great stop. 2.2. This is what we want. Here we go.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
We rejoined just behind Russell and Kvyat. So we're ahead of Gasly, ahead of Stroll. No sign of Albon or Verstappen. So we've managed to stay ahead of them. So right now, in theory, depending on what Ricciardo does, more or less, it's between me and him, really. That's what it's going to be for the race win. Hamilton on a 2-stop is going to be out of the picture this race, I think. So it's going to be me versus my teammate. We're definitely in a net P3 here, top 3 position for sure. Let's see if we can get past the AlphaTauri here of Danny Kvyat. I feel like I've got so much more pace. Big send into here. Down the inside we go. Huge send. Job done. And we can go after George Russell. I don't think we're going to be close enough to get him onto the pit straight though. I'd need a perfect final corner to close the gap a little bit to him, which, to be fair, that was actually very good. We might just get a run here. If not, we'll get him down towards turn 2. Here we go then. No car leaving the pit exit. We're closing in on the Williams. Look at this closing speed. Down the inside of George Russell. And there we go. Job done. We get past both of those guys. Into clean air we go. Hamilton 4 seconds up the road. Trapped behind Magnussen at the minute. So we'll hopefully close the gap a little bit to him. But job done. We've done the hard work. Going long on the first stint. And now we've got the benefits from that. Personal best. Hamilton can't get past Magnussen here, so he's losing a lot of time. And this is ruining his 2-stop strategy. This is great work from Magnussen, though, helping us out here today. Here we go, then we've got DRS now on Lewis, who still can't get past Magnussen, but surely this lap he will get past. He's close enough. We set another personal best. Here we go. Lewis down the inside into turn 1. I'm late on the brakes to close the gap. Let's see if we can get past Magnussen at the same time. A little bit late to open the DRS, to be fair. I mistimed it. Looks like we won't get past Magnussen just yet. We'll keep trying though. Oh, I'll tell you what, this is going to be close. Oh yes, we just sneaked through. We just found so much grip on the outside. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, status quo has returned. Ricciardo 18 seconds up the road. He should be pitting soon, but Hamilton now is free to push. But let's see what kind of pace he has on those mediums, because they're a few laps old now. And he's wasted the best part of those mediums in traffic. So I think I'm confident I can keep up with him. Here we go then. Ricciardo in the pit lane for his one and only stop. He'll rejoin pretty close to us, I think. He'll be behind us, but pretty close. I think he'll be ahead of Magnussen as well. But the benefit, he'll have much fresher tyres than me by a couple of laps. I think I pit lap 10, so he'll have 5 lap fresher hard tyres than me. There he is leaving the pit exit right now. So there we go. At the minute, we're looking very good for a 1-2 finish here. The first one in a long, long time, actually. But the car has been insane this weekend. And I'm still keeping up with Lewis. Hamilton's picked up his pace a little bit. I'm only a 10th off my personal best, but Hamilton has dropped me out of the RS range. I'm still keeping up with him, but he's just running at a very good pace at the minute. Also, Ricciardo closing in slightly as well. Should still be okay though. Lewis is nearing his pit stop. There we go, Lewis pits. And then it's going to become a 1-2 for the 97 Martini Racing team. I'm P1, Ricardo P2. And speaking of Ricardo,
Burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Daniel's putting some pressure on now. He's 1.3 behind. He's closer than he's ever been so far. He's definitely got more pace than me on those tyres. So we're going to have to do some defensive work here. Personal best from me. Good pace on that lap. Just setting, a bit of a benchmark. Ricardo, though, responding quite nicely and keeping up with me still. So I think Ricardo's going to follow us here all the way to the end. The question is, will he get close enough to actually try and pass me? To be fair, it looks like he's actually closing in a little bit here. I'm putting some pressure on. He's almost a second now. Hamilton, new fastest lap. She's definitely going to take the point today. No point even competing. I don't have that kind of pace. Bit of lap traffic here. Let's see how this plays into mine or Ricardo's hands. Looks like I'm actually putting away from Daniel a little bit on this lap. There goes the Haas getting out of the way. Thank you very much. And hopefully the Williams should follow suit on the pit straight I'm expecting. Hamilton back-to-back fastest laps. He's pushing. He's going to try and see if he can catch us, but I think we've got a bit too much pace, unfortunately, for him here today. Let's see if this Williams moves to one side. There we go. Thank you very much. And we get the DRS for good measure. And there we go. Job done. Traffic cleared. New personal best. Pretty strong lap, actually. Even without the DRS assistance, that would have been a personal best. So good pace. We extend our gap to Ricardo to 1.4, which isn't much, but that's just the pace Ricardo has. He's actually pretty quick, to be honest. As we enter the final 10 laps of the race now. More lap traffic now in the form of an Alfa Romeo. More for a personal best here. I'm pushing a little bit to see what kind of pace I have. It is going to be a new personal best. 14.1. Only just shy of the fastest lap, but I believe about a tenth. So not a million miles away. But that was giving it everything there. I was waiting for that lap. And we tried our best. Didn't quite get close enough though.
No need to worry about tyre conditions.
Ooh, Bottas.
Everything's looking good.
Bottas out of the race. That is huge for the championship. One of the Mercedes out for the constructors, as it's currently a 1-2 for myself and Ricardo. And also Ricardo's battle with Bottas. That's absolutely massive. I think we're approaching Bottas now. Yes, there he is on the left-hand side. There he is. Wow, that is huge for the championship. Blue flag. Looks like both cars will get out of the way. Yes, they do. Lovely stuff. That's going to hold up Ricardo an absolute treat through there. That might just give us the breakaway we need to breathe a little bit and pull away from our teammate. There we go, gap over 2 seconds. That's perfect. The timing on that was insane. Here we go then. I've tried it, but I've got no tyres left. I did a personal best first sector, but we lost it all in the middle one. Ricardo's pushing, but too little too late. We're going to come through to win here today at Hungary and pick up yet another race win and a 1-2 for the team. Get in.
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
There'll be smiles back at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Hungary. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
Well then guys, here we go, looking at the final race results. We pick up a big 25 points for the race win. Ricardo picks up second place and it's a 1-2 finish for us as a team. Hamilton finishes third with a fastest lap. So the top three in the championship finish 1-2-3 here today. Both Red Bulls P4 and 5, so Albon ahead of Verstappen, Magnussen P6 ahead of Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Leclerc, who scores the final point. Then it's Stroll missing out on the points, along with Norris, Vettel, Russell, Kvyat, De Vries, Perez, Giovinazzi, Aitken, Latifi, Grosjean and Bottas, who retired, of course, in the closing stages of that Grand Prix. We then look at the driver standings, and we are now 60 points clear of Hamilton and 90 points clear of Ricciardo and almost 100 points clear of Valtteri Bottas, and Ricciardo there overtaking Valtteri for third spot in the championship. We then look at the constructors, and we are clear by 67 points of Mercedes AMG Petronas. So we are looking very, very strong, guys, heading into the later stages now of the championship, as the next race will be Spa, and I am very much looking forward to that because it's my favorite track along with Japan. But having said that, it's one of the AI stronger tracks, so I'm expecting Mercedes to bounce back around there. But guys, that is it from me here today for this race here today at Hungary. And we're now going to move into the laptop and put some more upgrades onto the car for the future races.
Your team dominated the race today. Was it the car or the teamwork? What's the secret to your success?
I think the team has done a great job. You know, we've worked really, really hard. You know, from the first race we started in F1, and it's great to have a car now that is just so competitive. And, you know, we've always got each other's backs. We always work as hard as we can.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
We did. I think the car was really good in race trim. I think we got a bit unlucky in qualifying yesterday, but we knew the car was quick, and, you know, it just worked so well around here. It really did.
You performed better than last weekend. What changed?
Nothing much, really. We just approached it the same way. I think for some reason we just lacked a bit of pace in Silverstone, but you know, we try to maximize every race we can, so yeah.
How do you feel seeing your teammate up on the podium?
I'm really happy. I think it's great Daniel is on the podium. It's great to see him getting these results, and you know, that's what it's all about. We're all here to help each other.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Well, after the race, we look at the rivalry breakdown, and it's 4-4. So the rivalry starts off, and it's Hamilton who's got a 1-point lead heading into the next race weekend at Spa, which is actually a strong circuit for the AI. So looks like Lewis may have a chance here of actually extending his lead. We then look at the acclaim, quite a big bonus actually for us as a team, and we're now nearly level 21, so we might actually hit that next weekend. We then look at the cash bonuses. We hit a flawless weekend once again, which is great because in the last weekend we missed out on the Sudo sponsor, and then a few damage deductions here due to practice, qualifying and race. So not an optimum bonus, but still nonetheless good money and a good influx of cash heading into future race weekends. Here we are then back in the workstation, and you can see on screen we've got 2,789 R&D points. We've also got 6 days until the season break, and then a few more days after that, of course, once the season comes back. So we're going to go to the activities tab and assign a few activities here before a press interview, and we're going to go through, I think, some race simulations for Daniel Ricciardo to improve his pace and keep that kind of competitiveness up that he's got at the minute. We then move over to the R&D tab, and we've already got an ultimate aerodynamic upgrade on the way. We're going to add some more to that though, and we're going to go for, I think a chassis upgrade could be due, to be fair, a minor one maybe. We don't, or do I actually go for an ultimate one? Interesting. Actually, yeah, we'll go for an ultimate one. We'll go for this tyre wear upgrade. That will help us out a lot in the long run, and that will arrive, it looks like, after the Italian Grand Prix. So I might actually try and rush this one, see if we get lucky, and get that after Belgium. So we're going to rush that and see if we get lucky on that one. So yeah, anyway, there we go. We're now going to skip ahead to a press interview to kind of round up today's episode before we jump into a season break.
We've seen an amazing level of dedication from your second driver, both on and off the track. What would you say is the key to instilling that level of dedication?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. You know, we want to win things. We want to be the best. And, you know, we've got to push every single time.
When you're one of the top teams, do you feel like there's less pressure or even more?
I don't know. I think the pressure has always been there. You know, you always have to make sure you're on it from, you know, the get-go, because otherwise you get left behind or you don't catch up. So, yeah, you've got to be on it all the time.
You've been attracting new sponsors to your team. Does that also come with a lot of new pressure to perform?
Again, I think there's pressure always. You know, you just got, it's just the way it is, and you know, we've got to make everyone satisfied with their performances, and you know, we've just got to, you know, do the maximum we can.
Daniel Ricciardo is known to look at the potential of teams and play the long game. Does he perhaps see himself getting a championship at your team?
I think so. I don't see why not. I'm not against it. You know, I own the team, but it doesn't mean that the team, my teammate or the other driver, can't win. You know, I said before, we don't do team orders. We'll call it down the middle. So, you know, there's no reason why, you know, to win the championship we can't do that.
would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team?
No, not really. Unless maybe a driver has an absolute just massive deficit in the championship to the other one and it's clear as day, that needs to be held. But generally, no, there's no team orders.
Well, thanks so much as ever for your time. It's hugely appreciated.
Well, there we go then. Interviews done, and we are now going to move into a season break. So guys, in the next episode, we will return for the second half of the season, and I can't wait. I'm really, really excited. But guys, if you enjoyed today's episode and today's race win, then drop a like on the video. It's greatly appreciated, guys. Let's see if we can try and hit 900 likes for today's video, possibly 1,000 for the race win. And also subscribe if you're new to the channel, guys, for daily F1 content on the channel. And also check out the 2 videos on screen right now if you haven't seen them already. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, take care, and let's go back from me.